Hey guys, part 17 of the 18 team series, best 23 for leading into 2026. Today we got the reigning premiers, Brisbane Lions. I'm rocking the old Simon Black jersey back when I used to play. I'm struggling to breathe at the minute. I've put on a few kilos since then. Let's get stuck into it, okay? Get me in the corner as usual. All right, full back, gone with Jack Payne, 26-year-old, picked 54 in the 2017 national draft. They only got 13 games out of him. He missed out on his premiership medal, patella tendon injury in his knee. As usual, bronze badges mean top 50, so you can see 6 marks per game puts him in the top 40, and he's got an elite trait which puts him in the top 10. He's 5th in the league in intercept marks. 3.2. He's also silver with spoils, and absolute great defender when on the park. They'll hope to be getting a full season out of him this year, and he can potentially get another premiership medal if they go for the threepeat. You can see here 6.41 percenters puts him top 15, 5.8 spoils puts him in the top 16, and 3 one-on-one contests per game puts him just outside the top 10 at number 11. Okay, next got back pocket. Darcy Wilmot, elite player, pick 16 of the 2021 national draft, 22 years old. They got full 27 games out of him last season. He's up to 83 for his career, 13.4 kicks, puts him in the top 50, same with 5.9 marks. I'm surprised none of his actual advanced defensive traits are not gold or silver. Provides plenty of dash, obviously. His meters gained 334.2 is quite up there. Defensive half pressure, does his job. He's going to be a player that they can build around in the backline for years to come. We'll have a quick look at his draft just to see how it fared. You can see here 83 games at pick 16. This was the Jason Horne-Francis draft. You can see all these players in front of him. They've played less games than him, so the Lions have got plenty of value out of that pick. You can see here pretty much everyone apart from a player you may have heard of, Nick Dacos, has played, and the other guy, Naz Wanganeen-Millera. They're two handy players as well, but right up there with an elite pick from that draft. That's actually an exceptional draft. You got Darcy, Horne-Francis, Dacos, Naz, Finn Callahan was the other one. Excellent draft. Good result for Brizzy there. Okay, so the other back pocket. Dane Zorko, all-Australian player, 1,000,000 years old, 304 games into his career, 27 games out of him again. No reason why he can't go again. He is out of contract end of this year. That you're going to find that with a lot of the old boys. They're all going to be on 1-year prove-it deals. Soon as they start getting injured, lose a step, just can't keep up with the younger fellas, they're going to find their way out of the team. 20.8 kicks per game puts him second in the league. Does get a lot of chip kicks, takes a lot of their kick-outs as well. 83.6 time on ground, rating points at 12.2, and 620 metres gained. That ranks him 4th in the league. Okay, so probably another year or two in him, provided he can keep up with it. I suspect he would be older or as old as Pendlebury, 37 years old. Okay, has picked up an All-Australian jersey or two, 2017 and 2024. Okay, Wilmot will have a couple by the time it's all said and done, but there's your backline for the reigning premiers. Okay, all pretty standard selections here. Centre half back, you probably already know who it is. Harris Andrews, top 10 player in the comp, absolute elite. Pick 61 of the national draft, 29 years old. Full 27 games out of him, 7.7 marks. That puts him in the top 10. Never comes off. He gets 95% time on ground, which is top 10 in the league. 7.1 spoils, puts him 4th. 8.51 percenters, ranks him 2nd. And 3.3 intercept marks, ranks him 2nd as well. All-Australian, 3 years now. I would have expected a little bit more, actually. 2019, 2020, and 2025. Okay, next we're going with halfback flanker, Kitty Coleman. They barely got any games out of it. They got 1 game out of him, in fact. Provides plenty of dash. Pretty established player when he's actually healthy. 25 years old, 66 games, 6 marks per game. These are just stats from that 1 game he played before he got injured. 2 intercepts, so you can't really read too much into it. He was actually having a reasonable game with 475 metres on that particular day. That would have put him in the top 21 in the league if you kept it up for the whole season. And then the other half-back flanker, we've gone with Jasper Fletcher, father-son to Adrian Fletcher, 21 years old, pick 12 of the national draft. You can see here, got a little asterisk next to it. They had to match that bid, obviously. 27 games, got the full season out of him, 6.7 marks. Again, top 20, 13.9 kicks, 10.8 rating points. Pretty sure all these defensive players had over 10 rating points. Maybe Kitty Coleman was short. Yeah, 9.1. Harris Andrews, 11.2. Fletcher, 10.8. And then Wilmot was over 10, 11.6. Payne, 7.4. Okay. And Zorko, 12.2. There's your backline. Absolute elite backline. You can see why they've won the last couple of premierships. We'll do a quick look at the makeup. Okay, so we've got one player under 21. That's Jasper Fletcher. He'll be around the Lions for another 10 years. Two guys in the younger side of their prime football years. That's Kitty Coleman and Wilmot. They're going to be around for another 8 or so at least. You got two other boys still in their prime, but on the older end of it. And then you got one old boy hanging on in Zorko. Your experience is going to tell you pretty much the same thing. They're all pretty established. They've all played 50 games plus. No one's played under 50. And Andrews and Zorko are well and truly established, having played over 150. All are playing contract until next year, apart from Zorko. Fletcher's contracted to 2030. These other 3 are contracted to 2029, so that's after the Tassie Devils come into the league. One of these players has taken the top 10. This was a rookie draft, I believe, or Gold Coast Suns selection. And then he got traded to Brizzy. Never actually played for Gold Coast. And 5 other players taken in the national draft. Okay. All right. 2 of these players are taken outside the top 50, so they've got great return there. And one father-son in Fletcher. All right. I think Andrews was a academy player, I'm pretty sure as well. I'm not too sure why that's not updating. I'll have to double check that and update my data source if that's the case. I think it was. Next, we'll move on to the wingers. Okay, so Jared Berry, I think he kind of missed out on the premiership as well, having done, I think it was a shoulder bone or something, like collarbone, sorry. Towards the end in the finals, 5.9 marks per game, 20 touches, 9 rating points, 3 clangers a game, meters gained about 350. Can play that tag and role for him. Is a big midfielder as well at 193 centimeters. Pick 17 of the 2016 national draft. We'll have a quick look there. Again, you can see they've got great return. All these players taken before him at pick 17 have played a lot less games, all apart from Hugh McCluggage, his teammate. Okay, this is the Andrew McGrath, Tim Taranto draft. Who's this down the bottom here? Setterfield. He's played a lot more. That's got to fix that. Okay. Other winger is Zach Bailey. Could have thrown him in the half-forward flank. He does play that role more often than not. And he also runs through the midfield. I think just with this current makeup that I've got, they've got that many elite midfielders. This was the space remaining for Bailey. He's like a jack of all trades, can do it all type of player. Is going to be well and truly paid this season, I would imagine. He's a restricted free agent, out of contract in the out of contract this year. Okay, where was my little? Yeah, you can see that little purple line that indicates that he is a restricted free agent. I just want to double check that. Okay. 6.8 score involvements ranks him in the top 23 in the league. He came 23rd in the Coleman medal, averaging 1.5 goals per game. Okay. Tackles inside the forward 50. I thought that would actually be a little higher, 0.8, but I expect that they could bump that up to 1. Time on ground was about 83. That's going to be pretty standard with what we're expecting next year. Okay, and then we'll move into the engine room. Let's get rid of these control box. Draper. Okay, so he's a new recruit coming across from Essendon. Great player. Pick 1 of the 2016 rookie draft. 205 centimetre ruckman. They got 5 games out of him. Can be a little bit injury prone. I think he's already nicked up. 20.6 hitouts per game. Okay, wins his one-on-one contest when thrown forward, winning 2.6 per game, and his hit-out percentage of 40.8 would rank him 22nd. 13.8 rating points as well, which puts him in the top 31 players in the comp. We'll have a quick look at that rookie draft. He went. I don't think there's too many players remaining. There's 8. Okay, and you can see here. Stengel, Zerha, Rowan Marshall, Jack Henry, and Ladham's other ones remaining. Actually, there's two at the back: Zach Guthrie and Toby Pink. Okay, so pretty good pick for Essendon. He's come across as a free agent. Next, we've gone with Hugh McCluggage, superstar, another top 15, 20 player in the comp. You can have him top 10, really. It's up to your preference. Contracted to 2031. They got a full 27 games out of him. Pick 3 of the national draft, probably the best pick of that draft. 27 touches a game, 4.7 tackles, 15.9 rating points, ranks him in the top 10. That's 10th on the dot. 2.1 centre clearances, 6 clearances total. 428 meters gained. We'll have a quick look at that draft. I think he was the best pick of that draft. Yeah, he was. You can see here. He went after McGrath and Taranto. Both of them played a little less games, probably had a little less chance at finals. McCluggage at 209, Taranto 173, and McGrath. So effectively a full season. He's played more for Brizzy. Okay. Will Ashcroft, Norm Smith medalist, pick 2 of the national draft, father-son to Marcus Ashcroft. Only 58 games into his career. Half of those, or nearly half of those, were last year. Had missed the whole season with a knee, Rico. 27.1 possessions, puts him in the top 20 at 16, 13.9 handballs. Pretty even split there, 13.2, 13.9, 13.3 rating points, puts him in the top 40 comp, and 2.1 centre clearances. So you got plenty of centre clearances, both getting 2.1 per game. Okay, and then the last midfielder I've gone with is Josh Dunkley, coming across from the Doggies once upon a time, 29 years old, out of contract in 2028. I believe he's been extended to 2030. I've got to update that. I've got to update that data. We'll be doing that after this video. 25.1 possessions, 7.6 tackles. Does not mind a tackle. Puts him in the top 10. Number 6, in fact, 12.8 rating points, 1.6 centre clearances. Okay, so there's your midfield along with your defence for the reigning premiers. Let's have a quick look at the makeup again. Okay, we'll go to the top. 2 kids under 21, Ashcroft and Fletcher. That's Will Ashcroft, not Levi, is still yet to be named. 2 players in the younger end of their prime years, 7 in the oldest that are right in that hot spot. Okay, they can still play around for another 4 or 5 years easily, all of these guys. And then 1 old boy hanging on. Okay, no one's played under 50 games. These are your least experienced players, having played between 50 and 100. Remember, most of them played 27 games last season with all the finals and grand finals. And then these 6 fellas have played over 150, so a good blend there. 2 players out of contract this year, Zorko and Bailey. Bailey's going to be getting offers from everyone. Zorko's going to be a 1-year prove-it deals until he retires. McCluggage is contracted to 2031, Ashcroft, Draper and Fletcher to 2030, so none of these are a concern as far as Tassie Devils poaching them. 4 players taken in the top 10 of their respective drafts, 5 players between 10 and 30, and 1 player taken outside the first 30 picks, okay, and 2 players outside the first 50 picks. 10 players taken in the national draft, 1 rookie draft, and Zorko was the Suns zone selection. Yep. Okay, 2 father sons in Ashcroft and Fletcher. Academy, I've got to double check about Andrews. Andrews may be an academy player once upon a time. 2 players over 2 meters who could probably play that ruck role, but I've never seen Andrews play ruck role. He will just be that floating centre half back that they love to use. Probably the best backman in the game, really, at this point. Okay, let's go into the forward line. We'll get rid of the analysis there. Okay, so centre half forward, we've gone with Oscar Allen, elite pickup. I'm a West Coast fan, by the way, and he was always one of my favourite players. People often forget how good he can be when he's fit and healthy. This selection alone is going to make this team so hard to beat. 12 games last season. Okay, he kicked 12 goals. I thought that was pretty low, but in saying that, Eagles were getting belted by 1 million points every game. Ignore that hit-outs. He's not going to top 50 hit-outs. 88.3, 7.2 rating points. All these numbers are going to jump up, especially with the delivery that he's going to get from Brizzy. 6.8 kicks. So, yeah, An elite player, absolute one of my favourites when he was playing for the West Coast. It kind of pissed me off with the way a lot of the Eagles fans were jeering him on towards the back end, especially after he was having those meetings with Sam Mitchell. I'm glad he didn't go to Hawthorn. I much prefer watch him in Brizzy colours, and they'll treat him well. He'll be right up there in the Coleman medal, I think. He's actually kicked Eric Hipwood off the park, in my opinion. Hipwood's going to be up against it to find a spot on the ground when Allen and Logan Morris are up there. Okay, so half forward flank, I've gone with Lachie Neale, another midfielder that could have easily been in the engine room. He's had a bit of a rough off-season. He got caught putting his interest in places, allegedly, that it wasn't supposed to be, and there is rumours that he may come back to WA and things like that. Okay, 294 games, 222 games last season. Dual Brownlow medalist. We all know how good he is. Pick 58 of the national draft, 14.1 rating points. He's an elite player. Came on, was lucky to get a spot in the grand final, but when he did come on, did play very well. 2.2 centre clearances. He'll be rotating with Ashcroft and McCluggage when they need a break. Same with Bailey. Okay, and the other half forward flank is Charlie Cameron. Didn't get a spot in the forward pocket, which is probably his normal spot. Once again, coming in from Adelaide, 180 centimetres, 31 years old, 25 games, 30 goals, puts him in the top 41 this season. Okay, 1.1 marks on the lead, 6.6 rating points. Okay, so there's your team so far. I'll just zoom out, hope you can see it a little better. Okay, you can see the path that the players have taken to get to the Brisbane Lions. These are your all-Australian quality players, the guys that have earned a jersey. Lachie Neale's won 4 of them. Cameron's won a couple. Bailey's won 1. Dunkley's won 1. Andrews 3. And Zorko 2. Allen, I think, is a good chance at all-Australian if the season goes how I expect it to. And Ashcroft and McCluggage, it's only a matter of time. In fact, I thought McCluggage had won 1. I'll have to double-check that. Surprised that he hasn't won 1 yet. Okay, but yeah, these 2 guys and Allen can all add 1 for sure. Probably Fletcher as well for that matter. Okay, and then full forward, we've gone with Logan Morris, pick 31, 20 years old, 26 games, 57 goals last season at 2.2 a game. That puts him in the top 10. He came 8th in the Coleman. Okay, 2.4 one-on-one contests. He's going to find himself with a lot more one-on-one, direct one-on-ones without additional pressure, with Oscar Allen leading out to the midfielders. 2.4 marks inside the forward 50. Another elite player. He's 45 games into his career. He's already got 2 premiership medals. I think it's a bit like John Brown back in the day. He started off his career winning medals instantly. Okay. Forward pocket, I've gone with Kyle Lohman, 22 years old, 18 games last season. When he gets up and going, they're very hard, very dangerous player. 1.4 marks inside forward 50. This is the stat I rate the most for forwards. They're like gold. As you can see, he's already in the top 13 at just 1.4 per game. If you can lay a tackle on an opposition defender getting out of the back 50, that's huge for your team. Okay. And Cam Rayner, forward pocket, another versatile midfielder type if needed. 167 games in his career. Pick 1 of the 2017 national draft. 35 goals last season, which puts him top 31. Pick 1 of the 2017 national draft. 10.6 rating points. Okay, we'll have a quick look at that national draft. See how that fared. As you can see, not too bad a pick. The other player that went with him was Andrew Brayshaw. He's played 3 more games than Cam Rayner. I would say Brayshaw is the better player of the 2. Rayner took quite a while to get going. Bailey Fritsch has played the most out of that draft at 171, but those 2 are not too far behind. Okay, Chera, another Freo pick at that time. LDU at pick 4. Okay, pick 3 was Paddy Dow, not quite the pick that the Carlton were hoping for. Okay, so there's your team at the minute. There's your starting 18. Let's just zoom out. Hopefully you can see it a bit better. Very elite team. They got elite players in pretty much every single position. Bailey's probably the one that kind of doesn't fit with the wing. He'll play like half forward flank or forward pocket, rotating with the midfield, but I think that's just a better fit, getting more talent on the field. That's why I've opted with that. Okay, Levi Ashcroft, very unlucky not to be on the field as well. Second season, he played 27 games last season, played every game straight off the bat, 179 centimetres. Nearly 20 touches a game. I expect that to go up a little bit. Contracted until 2030. 75.6 time on ground. That'll be bumped up to about 85, I'd imagine. He'll find some more time in the midfield as well. Could also be on the wing, but it didn't feel right putting Bailey on the bench. A player like Bailey is going to be on the field for anyone. Okay. Sam Marshall also great rookie season. 11 games out of him last season. He only came into the back half of the year. Was in the grand final team as well. Ignore that clangers rating, 4.6. That'll come up. You can see his time on ground's 50%. Obviously, most games have been sub affected. Okay. 12.4 possessions. I expect that to jump up to about 20. Ty Gallop, another player that came on pretty late last season, 6 games, again played in the grand final, picked 42 of the national draft. He's going to be studying under Allen. Morris is pretty established at this point, but when Allen is, what's Allen? 26. He's 6 years older. So when Allen gets to that 33 years old, Gallup's going to be ready to take the game by the scruff. He'll be about 26 years old. Did kick more goals. I've got to fix that stat there. He definitely was kicking goals last season. 5.5 touches, 6.4 rating points. Okay. Ryan Lester, very unlucky not to be on the field as well. You can see he wins all his one-on-one contests, 3.6 spoils, 1.6 intercepts. He's kind of one of those unheralded players, but he plays a full season, as you can see here, 26. Fages loves him. 233 games out of contract this season. He is 33, so he's one that's probably potentially retiring next year. We'll see. 84.9. And Bruce Reveal, bit of a cult hero, Category B sign-on from a couple of years ago, 24 years old. Was in the grand final team as well. 10 touches a game, plays kind of a bit of a swingman role, can play on the wing. Another one that's lucky, unlucky not to be on the field, but Zach Bailey, I couldn't keep him off. 51.8% time on ground. Obviously sharing the sub vest with Marshall. There's your best 23 for the 2026 season for the reigning premiers. Okay, let's have a quick look at the team here. Put our filters on. 383 disposals per game compared to the rest of the league. That's 343. 13 goals, a little bit higher, but I expect that to be a lot more higher. Allen's only getting 1 goal a game. That's going to be a lot more this season. Okay, and Ty Gallop for some reason is registering zeros, remember, so that's an incorrect stat. 58.4 is tackles, which is a bit higher than the league average. 105.9 marks, which is way higher than the league average of 84.3. 21.7 hitouts. That's going to go up with Draper. I haven't got a a ruck reserve for Draper. So if he goes down, it'll be someone coming from outside the team in. Okay, 6 players under 20, which is scary. So these guys are going to be up at the top of the ladder for quite some time. Another 4 on the younger end of the prime years. 9 players on the older end of the prime years, and 4 old boys hanging on. All of them have achieved the All-Australian jacket apart from Lester. And, Lester wouldn't look out of place on one. He always just does his role quietly. Okay. 1 player's played under 10 games. That's Gallop, and that's only just. I think it was 6. I thought it was 9. Okay. And 10 players have played over 150, so they're all pretty well established. 4 players outside of contract, Neil, Bailey, Lester and Zorko. As I said before, there is a chance that Neil ends up in WA due to circumstances outside of footy. Bailey is a free agent, a restricted free agent. Who were the other 2? Sorry, I've clicked out of it. Lester is an old boy, and so is Zorko, both going to be playing on 1-year prove-it deals. Longest tenured player is Bucluggage, Rayner and Allen. They'll be around for another 5 years. That'll be Allen's last, maybe he'll be 31, so you can probably get 1-year prove-it deals after that. Top 10 picks all over the park. Rayner was a pick 1, Ashcroft a pick 5. His other brother was a pick 2. Cameron from Adelaide. 20 players taken in the national draft, indicating that they're the best players of their junior years. Okay, 1 player taken in the rookie draft, that was Draper. He went pick 1. 1 Cat B walk-on, Reveal, and obviously Zorko with that Gold Coast Academy. 3 father sons, the Ashcroft boys, the Golden Nutsack, and Fletcher. Okay, 3 guys 180 centimeters and play that small. Usually, I just tell people this would be the small forward pocket role, but not quite so much. Neil's midfield, Ashcroft is wing midfield, and Zorko is always going to be in that block pocket distributor role off the halfback flank. Okay, you got 11 players playing that smaller midfield type role, 180 to 189 centimeters. 7 players who can play the key posts: Dunkley, Allen, Morris, and Payne. Berry as well. Berry's a tall midfielder. And then you got the 2 players over 2 meters that would usually be utilised for ruck roles. Andrews is not going to be a ruckman, though. He's always going to be that elite defensive player. Okay, so there's your best 23 in my opinion. Next, we'll move on to the emergencies. Next man up. Okay, so we'll zoom in here. All right, so Hipwood, as I said before, he's the unlucky fella that's going to get pushed out by Oscar Allen. Pick 14 in the 2015 national draft, 28 years old, 1 game short of his 200th, 10 touches a game, 24 goals last season, 5.1 rating points. Took a while. He pops up with a big game every now and then, but didn't have too many last year. It was interesting to find out that he was playing most of the year with a busted ACL, which is pretty impressive. Marks inside 50 puts him in the top 50 at 1.6 and 1 mark on the lead. Okay, next I've gone with Darcy Fort. Pick 65 of the 2018 national draft, 32 years old. He's going to be the next man up should Draper get injured. 21 games out of him last season. Again, the other player unlucky not to be in the starting lineup as they were last year due to the free agency acquisitions that they got. 27.5 hitouts per game, ranks him in the top 11 in the league. 10.3 rating points, so he's a good ruckman. He's been pushed out by Draper. Okay, and Darcy Gardner, pick 22 2013 national draft, 30 years old, 10 touches a game. Top 50 in all the main defensive traits, 4.3 spores, 4.81 percenters, and 1.9 one-on-one contests. You'd think he would probably come in for, really if any of these guys go down, mainly it was Payne. He was replacing Payne last year when Payne was injured. Okay, so next up, we'll get rid of this. We'll go to the extended rest of the club effectively. Okay, so your primary list, category A rookie and your category B rookie. Okay, first up, Dan Annable. Get his combine jersey up here. Pick 6, the national draft, is an academy player. Should have an academy logo here. I've got to fix that. Okay, no games yet. Very good player. He's going to probably be inside mid eventually. Okay, Cody Curtin, Dan Curtin's brother, pick 43 of the national draft. Different type of player, like a centre half forward kind of player, 200 centimeters. Okay, and Kobe Evans, another academy player, this time from the West Coast. Pick 38. So you got your 3 rookies. These guys are all going to be safe for the foreseeable future. Ty Hayes, pick 44. I've organised these in the draft pick that they organised. Oh, no, I haven't. So, sorry, it's 40. Anyway, these are the rookies that they took. Okay. Tom Dodie coming from Adelaide formerly. Okay, so 190 centimetres, 28 years old. Having trouble with injury lately. He was a great player at Adelaide when rolling. You can see he's got some gold traits. Clangers is 0. That just means he didn't have a clanger in the 1 game he played. He won in 2 defensive one-on-one contests and 5 1-percenters. Okay. Tunstall, 22 years old, only 12 games into his career. He's out of contract this year, so wants to start getting some continuity. Henry Smith, 2 games in, 202 centimetres, another ruck option, 23 years old. Okay. Reece Torrent, no games into his career, pick 64, the 23 national draft. Zach Kostelski, don't know much about this dude at all, pick 51 of the 23 national draft. Oh, sorry, excuse that. That's my little spiels on what a pick is. And you've got Luke Lloyd, again, another player that hasn't played much. These guys don't really get much of a look in because of the continuity and the good injury run that the Brizzy have had with their starting players. Okay. So, category A, rookie, Lincoln McCarthy. He's another player. He'll be the next man up should a small forward go down, like a Loman or a Rayner. I think he did his knee last year, 32 years old, came in from the Cats once upon a time, out of contract this year, so really needs to show he can stay on the park. Is probably a best 23 type of player, providing he can get some continuity. Very unlucky not to make this lineup. Okay, Connor McKenna. Pick 62 of the rookie draft, 29 years old, 5 games out of him last season, 128 into his career. He's got some silver traits. That's just clangers. That one's pretty you don't really read too much into that. Same with turnovers. I need to do a bit of work on those. Okay, Noah Answorth, 17 games out of him last season, picked 55 of the 2018 rookie draft. 9.7 defensive half pressure. He could probably play in like a halfback flank role. Dara Joyce, trained on SSP. Okay, no games out of him this year. Will McLaughlin, 6 games out of him, pick 6, the 24 rookie draft. Okay, again, Clangers is the only silver trait. We don't read too much into that. Luke Becken, 1 game out of him last season. Again, a gold trait, and it's just going to be those ones that don't really matter due to the fact that there's not enough data points on it. Okay, so excuse that. If you guys did want to use this app, these little pop-ups that keep popping up, it's when I press primary list category A or category B rookie. It'll just give you a spiel on what they are. What is a category A rookie spot? Category A is recruited through the usual pathways, and they're just taken from the rookie draft rather than the national draft, or they've found their way up through the SSP. Okay, category B rookies are effectively the international players or players that have come from another code. Ben Murphy is a category B sign-on. Again, no games played. And Shadow Brain, he's 9 games into his career, didn't get any games out of him last season, 22 years old. Okay, so there's your full Brizzy list. Let's get me out of the way. Well, I've got to lean this way. There you go. There's your Brizzy list for this season. As you can see, they've taken up all 44 of their roster spots. Some teams still have a few more spots to fill through the SSP, and we'll have a quick look at how they fare compared to the rest of the comp. I'm going to say pretty well, considering that they've won the last 2 premierships. Okay, we'll get rid of that filter. So 460 disposals, 0.6 is 0.4 short of the league average. It just means that they're basically at their extended bench. They're not getting much game time, so they're not really racking up any stats. Okay, 17.7 goals, brings them back down to earth a little bit against the league average of 16.5. 71.5 tackles is less than the average of 79.8. This just indicates that the other clubs have got more list depth that haven't made their way onto the best 23. Okay, 56.1 hitouts is a bit higher than the league average of 40, and the clearances of 45.3, which is less than the league average of 46.9. Okay, 15 players are under 21. As you can see, most of these guys have not found their way onto the 23, and the ones that have are the elite type of players at the top end of a national draft. Okay, 8 players on the younger side of their prime years: Tunstall and Smith, Becken and Brain. These guys are going to want to have to train the house down, or they're going to be out of contract, and the club will start freeing up those type of roster spots for new rookies coming through. Okay, 14 players on the older end of the prime footy years: McKenna, Ainsworth and Joyce. These are kind of the next guys up. Same with Dodie and Hipwood. If any of these guys on the starting 23 get injured, these guys are the next man up, in my opinion. And you got 7 old boys. Okay, McCarthy's a bit unlucky. He could really be on at best 23, but Brizzy have just got too much depth this season, so that's why he's found his way on the category A rookie section. Okay, 13 players have played under 10 games. Most of these guys that are highlighted here have played no games at all. 6 players under 50, another 10 under 100, 2 under 150, and then 150 plus. Okay, 17 players out of contract. So these guys all are on the roster bubble. Pretty much the top 23 are mostly sorted. All these guys here are going to be competing against each other for those roster spots. You would think Brizzy would free up 2 to 3 roster spots for rookies next year. Okay, so these players here will be where they come from, I would think. 11 players out of contract when Tassie Devils come in. Okay, 3 in 28, 6 in 29. As you can see, most of these guys are signed on. Hipwood's very lucky. He signed a big contract before Oscar Allen got to the club. 9 players taken in the top 10. Annibal's going to find his way into the starting lineup before long. They're going to see what they've got in him. Okay, 9 players taken outside the 50, and as you can see, most of them aren't in the best 23, indicating their roster spot a bit precarious. Okay, 34 players taken in the national draft, pretty much their entire list. That's how I've organised these. As you can see, the rookies are in the rookie portion of the roster. Okay, 3 father sons, which is a little bit higher than the league average of 1.8. Okay, and the average height of the entire club is 188.7, which ties in line with the rest of the league. The average footy player size is 188.6 centimetres. You got 4 players under 180, and you got 6 players over 2 metres. The 6 players over 2 metres is a little bit higher than the league average, indicating they've got options at ruck should Draper go down. In this starting 23, I've only gone with 1 ruck option, which is a bit dicey, especially considering Draper's injury history. Okay, so there you go. That's what we're looking at. We'll go through a quick some other views here. Okay, so club details. This is your depth chart. These are your backs, mids, forwards, interchange, and these are the experienced players that haven't found their way into the starting 23. As you can see, Hipwood's the most unlucky. Just 1 game short of his 200th. He's only 28 years old. And then you got the old boys, Gardner, McCarthy, McKenna, all over 29. Okay, Answorth is 26. He's probably got more upside. He'll have a fair few chances this year, you would think. As I've explained, ruck depth, Draper's got the badge, and next man up will be Darcy Fort, followed by Henry Smith, who's only played 6 games. Hipwood's tall enough to play ruck, but he doesn't quite have the build for it. Key forwards, Logan Morris and Oscar Allen, they've got the badges. They're the starting key forwards. If they were to go down, you think the next man up would be Hipwood. Henry Smith maybe. But yeah, key backs, Harris Andrews and Jack Payne. Ryan Lester's the next man up should one of them get injured. Small forwards, we've gone with Bailey, Cameron, Ashcroft, Will Ashcroft, Neil and Wilmot. All those guys are already on the starting field. And your pressure players, your players that like laying tackles. Dunkley's one of the best in the leagues at 7.6. McCluggage does his fair share at 4.7. Ty Gallop, 4 tackles a game as a big key forward is huge. Okay. Lockie Neal. Actually, Ty Gallop should have actually been in the key forwards. I don't know how he didn't quite make the list there. But we will ignore that. Oh, it's because he had a 0 next to his name for goals. Just registered Darcy Gardner 0.4 goals for some reason. Anyway, jersey mode. Let's get me out of the way just so you can see it all. Okay. This is how your Brisbane Lions have built their list. You can see the 3 rookies here, Annabelle, Kobe Evans, Ty Hay. Okay. Let's get the starting 23 here. Ashcroft, Marshall and Gallop all in last year's draft. They're in the starting lineup. Logan Morris was picked up the year before. Will Ashcroft and Jasper Fletcher the year before. So they've actually done really, really well. As you can see, the last, 3-4 drafts. Okay, Darcy Wilmot. All these are hits. Keedy Coleman. Cam Rayners, pick 1. Zach Bailey, pick 15. Oscar Allen went to the Eagles in that particular draft. And Jack Payne. The oldest player here is Ryan Lester, taken pick 28. Let's get rid of the 23 only. You can see 2 older players, Lincoln McCarthy and Lockie Neal, taken at the back end of the 2011 national draft. All right, AFL wide, we'll compare the ages. Okay, so they're the 4th oldest team list overall. Collingwood being the oldest. They've had the 3rd most experience out of that old list. If you compare it to the best 23, their best 23 are actually quite young. They're on the younger end of the scale, which is scary thought. They're going to be up near the top of the ladder for quite a long time, I would think. Average games, the 3rd most, so they're quite young, but they've all got plenty of games into them. Fages has managed the list pretty well. Prime age there is 13th highest, so they've got a few younger players that can move into that 22 to 28 year range. Okay. Contract cliffs, they've got pretty much most of their starting 23 signed up. The league average is around 5 or 6. You can see St Kilda have got 2, but Port and Richmond are 9 and 10. So they've got a lot more locked up as well. They don't really need to worry about the Tassie Devils as much as some of the other clubs. Okay, talent mix, you got average height. They're the 17th tallest starting 23 lineup, so one of the smallest, really, 2nd smallest. And they've got 2 ruckmen, effectively 9th most, which is pretty much league average. Okay. All right. That's pretty much what I've got for you today. Hopefully you've seen some of the other clubs' videos of the same ilk I've made. I've got one more to go with Hawthorn. That could be interesting. And then a few other stats. But if you guys want to use this app, you can do so. I've got that on my website. Just become a member of the YouTube channel and you'll find the password and you can access this. You can play around with it, drag players. You can do your salary cap things. Like I've got a dream team with some additional filters that you won't find behind the AFL Fantasy paywall. I'm going to be adding to that as well. I'm going to be doing rolling all Australians, things like that. It's just a bit of fun to play around with as we look forward to the 2026 season. As usual, if you could just like and subscribe. Help me get this channel off the ground. I want to try and put out a bit more footy content for you guys next year. It's just one more option for you guys to digest. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for all the support, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.